the impersonal is used, and this impersonal it is preached. This system is called the Advaita. Shall I continue?
Yeah, you can continue.
And what are our relations with this impersonal being? That we are He. We and He are one. Everyone is but a manifestation of that impersonal, the basis of all being, and misery consists in thinking of ourselves as different from this infinite, impersonal being, and liberation consists in knowing our unity with this wonderful impersonality. These, in short, are the two ideas of God that we find in our scriptures. Some remarks ought to be made here. It is only through the idea of the impersonal God that you can have any system of ethics. In every nation, the truth has been preached from the most ancient times. Love your fellow being as yourselves. I mean, love human beings as yourselves. In India, it has been preached, love all beings as yourselves. We make no distinction between men and animals. But no reason was forthcoming. No one knew why it would be good to love other beings as ourselves. And the reason why is there in the idea of the impersonal God. You understand it when you learn that the whole world is one. The oneness of the universe, the solidarity of all life, that in hurting anyone, I am hurting myself. In loving anyone, I am loving myself. Hence, we understand why it is that we ought not to hurt others. The reason for ethics, therefore, can only be had from this ideal of the impersonal God. Then there is the question of the position of the personal God in it. I understand the wonderful flow of love that comes from the idea of a personal God. I thoroughly appreciate the power and potency of bhakti on men to suit the needs of different times. What we now want in our country, however, is not so much of weeping but a little strength. What what a mine of strength is in this impersonal God when all superstitions have been thrown overboard and man stands on his feet with the knowledge, I am the impersonal being of the world. That what can make me afraid? I care not even for nature's laws. Death is a joke to me. Man stands on the glory of his own soul, the infinite, the eternal, the deathless, that soul which no instruments can pierce, which no air can dry, nor fire burn, no water melt, the infinite, the birthless, the deathless, without beginning and without end, before, before whose magnitude the suns and moons and all their systems appear like drops in the ocean, before whose glory space melts away into nothingness and time vanishes into non existence. This glorious. Shall I stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you are ready, you tell me. I will start class.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay. Om Jananim Sharadam Devi Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhum Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Yeah, once in a while I've got a dry cough suddenly from 3-4 days. In between I may be a bit coughing. So if it is so, please excuse me. So we were discussing Swami Vivekananda's lectures from Colombo to Almora, as you all remember, on Vedantism. We did discuss about the different worlds, that is upper worlds like attaining Swarga, heaven, and etc., and their strength and weakness or limitations we did understand. Then what is the eternal freedom? We did understand. We discuss and we try to discuss about the body, mind, soul from the East and Western concept, trichotomous and dichotomous theory. After explaining the nature of the soul or the self, and he also said, he also discussed about the karma theory, and he also discussed about the nature of the self. Now, he is also discussing about the nature of the God. As if you rightly remember, every classical philosophy has to discuss about three things primarily. One is God, the other is world, and the other is self, which also includes the creation of the creation, the nature of the God, and the freedom, the mukti, the karma, ethics. All these things are involved in this. Now, Swami Vivekananda, after discussing about the soul or the self, which is a sexless and it is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta and all, now Swamiji started discussing about the nature of the God. What is the nature of the God? Now, broad canvas, the Semitic religions and the theistic schools of Vedanta, they discusses God about which has got a form and definite attributes, which is called what do you say, Sakara Saguna. Some of the schools or some of the religions, some of the sects, they define God as Sakara, which has got a definite form and definite attributes. They may be innumerable, but they attributes. Attributes, it is a nature, it is not a quality, it is a nature. So it has got a definite form and it has got definite qualities. And some of the Semitic religions like Islam and some other theistic schools of Vedanta, they say God is formless, Nirakara, but Saguna. So one is Sakara Saguna, the second is Nirakara Saguna, and the Advaita Vedanta and some other philosophies say the reality is Nirakara and Nirguna. So at broad canvas I'm speaking, all your philosophies, religions, sects, if you finally put it and if you analyze the different philosophies about the nature of the God, so it can be classified into these three groups: Sakara Saguna, Nirakara Saguna, and Nirakara and Nirguna. Now, based on our Vedas, the idea of Vedas and Vedanta and Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, Swami Vivekananda is saying that God is personal and impersonal. Means he is Sakara Saguna fine and he is also Nirakara Nirguna fine. So their Nirakara Saguna is also involved there, no doubt. And he is saying that the idea of the personal God, who is the creator, preserver, and destroyer. So again, destroyer means it is the dissolver. We have to be very clear. So, and is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, and is the father and mother of the universe, and is separate from all of us. And liberation consists in attaining him and nearing him. He's saying that this is all from theistic schools of Vedanta and what do you say, Semitic schools of religion. Also, we can discuss. Now, God has got definite forms, fine. He has created this world. He is preserving this world, and he is also the reason for the dissolution of the world, which is called pralaya. Apart from that, Swamiji he makes a mention of the different type of emancipations, different type of liberations. Now, when you study Vaishnavism, Shaivism, and Bhagavata, especially, you will find four types of mukti in Bhakti Shastras. They are Salokya, Samitya, Sarupya, Sayujya. Now, Swamiji has mentioned them in one line. If you know all these things, scriptures, when you read Swami Vivekananda's particular line, you will be able to connect to that. Now, you may come, some of you may feel, Swamiji, we don't find any of them here. From where did you get all these points or ideas? Some of you may feel that. So, if you have got a Shastric background or study, when you read particular lines, you will be able to remember. Say, for an example, here saying, one who is eternally separate from us and from all souls, and liberation consists in coming near to him and living in him. So coming near to him and living in him, that particular line, when you read, then you will be able to understand. Now, what is Salokya? Salokya, who has got bit Sanskrit knowledge, you can understand. Lokya, Loka. The God resides in a particular Loka, above world called Kailasa or Vaikunta or Ramakrishna Loka, you can say, any Loka basically. So one who is residing or staying in the same Loka where God resides. Such type of mukti is called Salokya. So for example, I went to Vaikunta and Lord Vishnu is residing in Vaikunta. I am also allowed after my death. I am also allowed to stay in Vaikunta. Then such type of mukti is called Salokya. Or many of us, being initiated devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, we see that after death, Sri Ramakrishna comes and takes us. We will go to Ramakrishna Loka. So in Ramakrishna Loka, Ramakrishna is there, Holy Mother is there, direct disciples are there, many devotees and monks are there. So I will be also staying in there. That is our belief, faith. Why? Because there are many experiences from the devotees and others. So that is called Salokya. Now Samipya. I may be staying in the Ramakrishna Loka, but I may not be very near to God. Somewhere. For example, you are in Belur Math. You visited Belur Math. In Belur Math, somewhere you are there. Now, that is called Salokya. I mean, just I'm giving a very simple example. Then Samipya is remaining an associate of the God. Like you are staying next to the temple. You are staying next to Prajna's quarters. Or you are always staying, whenever you go to Belur Math, you are always staying next to President Maharaj. Some of the sevaks, devotees as volunteers, they do volunteer service in President Maharaj's quarters. They spend their time very near to President Maharaj, for example, I would say. So like the standard example is given, classical example is given is Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna is staying very near to God, not only in this mundane world, even in the above world. So whenever Krishna comes, Arjuna also comes. Now, Swami Yogananda is considered as the Amsha of the Arjuna. Now, Sarupya. Sarupya means attaining the similar form of the God. Now, like God has got 4 hands and it has got a particular form. So a devotee also may get a similar form. It is called Sarupya. Then the 4th one is Sayujya. Sayujya means merging oneself into the Lord. So there is no individuality at all. Like Ganga river merging with the Bay of Bengal near Ganga Sagar. When Ganga river merges with the Bay of Bengal, then Ganga loses its individuality. That is called Sayujya. And interestingly, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, there is a 5th type of mukti that is called Sarshti. Sarshti means possessing the opulences, possessing the powers of God. Possessing some of the powers of God is called Sarshti. This is only I have seen in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy or in their school only. In other Bhakti schools, these 4 schools, these 4, Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya are standard. Anyhow. So these are the different type of muktis has been discussed in theistic schools of Vedanta. Now in Semitic religions, it is like Salokya only. So going and staying near God in the world, or at the most Samipya, that is staying near God, that's all. Sarupya and Sayujya, Semitic religions, either Islam or Christianity, they don't speak. So afterwards, Swamiji speaks of impersonal God. Impersonal means his nature is what? Nirakara and Nirguna. He doesn't have any form, and in reality, he doesn't have any, qualities. Means he is beyond that, basically. And then you have discussed so many, because so many scriptures discuss about the infinite attributes of the God. What about that? Swamiji is taking that all that adjectives looks like superfluous as illogical, because there remains an impersonal, omnipresent being who cannot be called a knowing being. Now, this includes a lot of philosophical thinking. Now, Swamiji is making a very interesting nature of the impersonal God. Why is saying all these adjectives are superfluous or illogical? With all due respect, we have to accept it, no doubt. But when you are a hardcore Advaita Vedantin, logically, you may feel this. If you feel God has got definite attributes, that is also okay. If you feel there is no problem, there is no mistake, we can accept and we can go. About Sri Ramakrishna himself, Swami Vivekananda has written quite a few, hymns. In the hymns, he has explained who is Sri Ramakrishna. Tasmat Vameva Sharanam Mamadhina Bandho, isn't it? It's a way Swami Vivekananda has told. Ramakrishna Dasamyaham, Swami Vivekananda himself has told about in all these things. So when we study, we should not get confused and we should not think, oh, about Sri Ramakrishna or about Rama or Krishna, Durga or Kali. We have heard so many things. Then Swamiji is saying that all of them are superfluous. So we should not get confused. So from that particular angle, Swamiji is speaking. And Swamiji's one nature is whatever he takes, he puts in such a way that all others are useless, and that's the only one right thing. That's why even Swami Shardananji got confused. He tells, I think, with Yogananji, Swamiji, when he discusses about Karma Yoga, he says Karma Yoga is the ultimate, all other yogas inferior. When he discusses about Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate and all others are inferior. I'm getting confused. Then Yogananji says, yes, better you come to mother. There is no confusion at all with the mother. Anyhow, that's how Sharat Maharaj goes to mother, and afterwards what happens, we all know that. So we have to be a bit careful. Now, Swamiji is making a interesting things. It needs a good amount of study and thinking. God cannot be called as a knowing being because knowledge only belongs to the human mind. What does it mean? So if God is a knowing being means what? God is a knower. So to know something, I need a mind. In sleep, in deep sleep, I don't know anything. When I get up from a deep sleep and how was you? How did you feel? Oh, it was so nice, refreshing, but I didn't know anything. Because my mind is inactive, my mind is dormant, my senses are dormant. So there is no mind, there is no sense organs. Means it is in inactive state, dormant, that's the meaning. So to know, I need mind, I need sense organs. So that means, again, it is under the realm of Maya. So God is beyond the realm of Maya. That's why it's called, if you say that God is, God cannot be called as a knowing being, means a knower, because knowledge only belongs to the human mind. Doesn't mean that God cannot know. No, he knows everything, no doubt, but he is beyond that. And the underlying argument is, you cannot really define what is God, who is God. To make us understand this type of paradoxical statements or paradoxical words has been used. For example, in Upanishads also, we come under that. What is that? He is smaller than the smallest. He is smaller than even atom and is bigger than the biggest. How it is? Both are paradox tautology. He is smaller than the smallest and is bigger than the biggest. How is it? Both are opposites. I think the Rishi, whoever is telling, is definitely, with due respect, he is a mad, I think. He is insane. We may say that. Or under faith, we may accept it. Why it has been told in particular fashion, it is only to make us understand that Atman cannot be explained by the words. Avang manasa gocharam. To make us understand, this type of paradoxical statements or words has been used in the Upanishad. That's the way of teaching. So Swamiji is also more or less, I feel, he is telling that God cannot be called as a knower because knowledge involves mind. And not only that, when you say knowing, knowledge also involves ignorance also. How much ever I say I am knowledgeable man, somewhat I will be ignorant somewhere. Something at least. So knowledge also presupposes ignorance. So from that angle, from that particular angle, he cannot be called as knower. So, but basically thing is, God cannot be explained. That is the basic underlying argument. That for that he is using these type of sentences or words that you have to understand. Okay. Now Swamiji is saying he cannot be called a thinking being because that is a process of the weak only. Yes, thinking means it is like chinta, not chintana, chinta. You know that, I think in Bengali also it is there. It is a Sanskrit word. So it is not brooding. Oh, I've got this problem, I've got the bank balance problem is there, I have to pay something and the problem is there due to some XYZ and etc. So because of the weakness, because of the problems, we are thinking. So if you say God is also thinking being, that means he also has got some problems. He also has got some how to manage life, manage household. Because his household is so big, he has to manage so many people. So it also involves weakness. That is what the logic Swamiji is giving. Means he also might have got worries. God also might have got worries, that means. Now, reasoning. He cannot be called a reasoning being, rational being. Why? Because reasoning is a sign of weakness. Why it is weakness? From what angle? Reasoning means what? Sort of reasoning or discrimination, there should be needed duality. Reasoning or discrimination between right and wrong, reasoning between good and bad, reasoning between strong and weakness. If there is a duality, only there is a need of reasoning. If there is a non-duality, then there is no need of rationality, then there is no need of thinking, there is no need of reasoning, there is no need of any mental and intellectual transactions at all. So God is above all this, God is beyond all this. That's why you cannot call him as reasoning also. And he cannot be called a creating being, he cannot be called a creator, because none creates except in bondage. Again, all powerful statements Swamiji is telling about God. He cannot be called creator because creation includes, accepts, presupposes bondage. That's where we say Nirakara Nirguna Parabrahman, Supreme Self, cannot create the world. Why? Because he is beyond that. That's where, if you read Vedanta Sara, will tell very clearly this has been explained. So, Nirakara Nirguna Nirupadika Chaitanya we use. Nirupadika Chaitanya, with the help of Maya, Nirupadika Chaitanya plus Maya is called Sopadika Chaitanya. Means Sopadika Chaitanya means Upadi. Nirupadi means it doesn't have an Upadi, limiting that. So Sopadika Chaitanya means what? Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? Brahman or Nirupadika Chaitanya plus Maya. I think by hearing Tattvabodha and Drugdishya Viveka, I think this much you should be able to understand by this time now, I think. I don't think things are going above the head. So Nirupadika Chaitanya plus Maya, he gets Upadi, that is his Sopadika Chaitanya, is nothing but Ishvara. So from Ishvara only the creation can start, because Ishvara has got Maya. Maya is inseparable from Ishvara, from God, no doubt, but he has got Maya. It is like the serpent under the poison. Cobra has got a poison. It is with its only, but it doesn't affect its own self, but it can affect others, isn't it? So Maya, when it comes to for individual level, at the individual level, it becomes Ajnana for all of us. That's why we suffer. But for God, it is not Ajnana, it is a Maya, it is a power. It doesn't harm him, but it can create a lot of problems for us. So from that angle, Swamiji is saying that God also cannot be cannot be called as creator, because creation includes bondage. Here bondage means Maya. So we have to be very careful. That's where we need Advaita Vedanta Upanishadic ideas. Yeah. And he cannot be called a creator being, okay. And what bondage has he? He doesn't have any bondage. He is free. And we cannot say that even he is free. Because if you say that he is free, the freeness involves some sort of bondage. With respect to bondage is free, we are saying that. So that also cannot be called. None were except for the fulfillment of desires. What desires has he? We all work to fulfill some desires. To be a contemplative, for at least for emancipation, for good, or for devotion, for gnana, and for peace, for something at least we are struggling and we are working and we have got some desires basically. If nothing else, at least to what you say, Ishvara Labh, Sri Ramakrishna says, at least to have the God realization we are working. That is the one desire at least. Though it is not a desire, but it is a desire. But now for God, what type of desire is there? What desire is there for him? For what? He doesn't have to work anything. And none works except it to be supply some wants. And what wants has he? Because he doesn't have any wants, he doesn't have any needs, he doesn't have any craving, he doesn't have any desires. So why should he work? He is beyond all that. And that's where Swamiji is saying that. That's why Vedas, means in Vedanta especially, God has been referred not as he, but as it. He means again pullinga, that is a masculine, she, feminine and all. But it means what? It is a neutral gender. We cannot say man, we cannot say woman, and we cannot say anything duality. He is beyond all that. That's where many times, very interestingly, how this philosophy can exhibit or can manifest in our rituals. For example, if you have seen clearly, how many of you have seen traditional pujas, I do not know. In Durga Puja, when we do Durga Puja, traditional Durga Puja, you give Yagnopavita even to mother. Now, mother is a lady, whatever it may be, with all due respect, she's a feminine. Now, why the Yagnopavita, Pavite you say in Bengali, the sacred thread, why sacred thread is offered to Holy Mother? Sorry, Mother Durga. Because we don't know whether she is male or she is female. Right? We know that she is a female. Yes, I mean, at low level or for understanding sake, fine. But who is she? We do not know. That's why we are giving Pavite also sacred term. Now, all of our rituals and customs, how beautifully it is, I mean, based on philosophy. So basically, God is beyond our understanding. God is beyond all our dualities. He is non-dual. Nirakara, Nirguna, Parabrahman. That is what the Supreme Self. That is the nature. That is the philosophy about God from the point of Advaita Vedanta. So what is Advaita Vedanta's concept of God, if you ask? This is what, according to Swami Vivekananda, in this particular lecture. Hope you have understood now. You got any questions or can I go further? Okay. And now, okay, God is impersonal God, fine. Now, when Salikya, Samipya, Saropya, Sayujya, if you take from theistic schools of Vedanta, when you take, who am I? With reference to God, with respect to God, if you ask, Dvaita Vedanta says that I am separate from Him eternally. I can be a son of Him. That the Dvaita Vedanta says. Now, Vishishta Advaita Vedanta says that I am the part of Him. Qualified Manoism, we say, I am the part of Him. Like I can be the crown prince at the most, that's all. More than that, nothing. Advaita says that I am that, I am the I am the future king or I am the king. So you understand the difference. I being maybe a citizen of the country, and I being the some relative or the crown prince of the country, and I am the king of the country. So these are the three at broad canvas over. I'm oversimplifying the concept. So the relationship between the individual self and the supreme self, we can see in the schools of Vedanta. Now, what is the relationship between God and the individual being? If you ask, Swamiji is telling beautifully, what is that? We and He are one. I and my God is one. Because there is only one truth. And you cannot say even there is only one truth. Because to say one, there should be a reference which involves, these are all fine arguments. I hope some of you enjoying, I know that, which if I say that one, I am only one, if there's only one, it presupposes that there are no two, there are no three or whatever. So that's the reason Advaita. Advaita means there are not two, there is no two. There is no two means what? Implied meaning is what? There's only one. It's a philosophical way of explanation. So we and He are one. And God is only one, and the reality is only one. There are so many people fine, there are so many beings fine, but they're all reflections of the one reality. Just like you have got 100 mirrors you have kept on the big ground. Now there is a sun, and 100 reflections you are seeing, 100 reflections of the sun you are seeing. That does it mean 100 suns are there? No, only one sun. Because of the 100 reflecting mediums, you have got 100 suns. Maybe still better is you keep in the Purnima time, in the full moon day, you keep in mirrors. Now you will be able to see, or 100 buckets of water, you will be able to see 100 moons. Is that really 100 moons? No, there's only one moon for Earth, but we are seeing 100 moons because 100 reflecting mediums. So many living beings are there, animals, birds, reptiles, human beings, all of them are reflecting mediums, but the only one truth is there, the only one reality is there, that is called God, that is only one. Then what is the relationship between me and Him? If you ask, I and Him are essentially one and the same. That is what? Tattvam Asi. You are that or I am that. Yeah. And because everyone is but a manifestation of that impersonal, the basis of all being. And misery consists in thinking of ourselves as different from this infinite impersonal being. Because I am thinking, because of the ignorance, I am separate from God, I am different from God. That's where the root cause of all our suffering. Ignorance. Because of the ignorance, I am thinking I am separate from God, I am different from God. Because of this thinking, so there is all suffering, there is all cause of suffering, cause of bondage and all. This is from Advaita point of view. If you say that I and God is one, then if you say with a Madhvaita or Ramanujait, they say Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, that is a Shantam. That is the greatest sin. Even I think probably the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciples, right? Gaudiya Vaishnavism, if you go and say, they may slap us, and they say that that is the greatest sin you are saying, the greatest lie you are saying. So this is from Advaita point of view. And Holy Mother says we are Advaitins. So probably we have to understand this and we have to follow this. Yeah. So in short, there are two ideas about the God. One is personal and the other is impersonal. Now, both are fine. Both are accepted. And as Sri Ramakrishna says, God is personal, God is impersonal, and is beyond that. What does it mean? It means you cannot limit God. Either mitham, this is a word exactly used in our philosophical language. Either mitham, this is what. For example, now I give a substance. I give a mobile for an example. You explain, you write a dissertation, you may write a thesis, and you say, this is what Swamiji about the mobile. More than this, I don't think anything else you can say. So we have told whatever has to be told, everything you have covered it. Idam ittam. In that way, in that fashion, you cannot explain what is God. You cannot, because it is, you cannot limit him at all. How much ever we say, for example, in Narayana Sukta and Purusha Sukta, we say, whatever we are seeing God, we have experienced, we have discussed in all the Vedas and all, it is only 1/4, one pada only, and 3 padas is unmanifested. None of us we are able to understand. All these usages, similes, metaphors, it only make us to understand God cannot be understood in our limited mind. It cannot be explained. Okay. Now afterwards, Swamiji is linking, it is one of the wonderful contribution of Swami Vivekananda, according to me, that how the Advaita Vedanta can be the strong and right base for the ethics and morality. Why should we study Advaita Vedanta? What is that? All of us we know, and many philosophers have spoken. But Swamiji is connecting the ethics and morality with Advaita Vedanta is one of his wonderful contribution to the, philosophical thought. Why should I be good? Why should I speak truth? Oh, because of that is a good thing. Because of that I will get punya, so that I will not be punishing, so that I will be going to heaven. Teach schools of Vedanta say, because I will get a place in heaven. I will go to heaven instead of going to hell. That's why you should speak. You are rewarded basically. If you speak truth, if you are good, you are rewarded. And if you lie, if you cheat, you are punished. So based on reward and punishment, ethics and morality has come. Now Swamiji is saying that, why should I be good? Because that is your real nature. What does that mean? When you say God is Sat Chit Ananda, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, that means God is good. When you say God is auspicious, God is good, so by being good, by being moral, by being ethical, by being truthful, by being honest, I will be nearer to God. If I am opposite to all of them, that means I am going away from God. So the whole ethics, morality, the base for ethics and morality is what Advaita Vedanta, or the nature of the God, or the nature of the Son. Again, a beautiful argument. This itself we can discuss, we can think a lot about this. So why should I be moral? Because that is my real nature. Then only I can be nearer to God. So the manifestation, in other words, as Swamiji's language, manifestation of the divinity is more if I am good, if I am truthful, if I am honest, if I am, moral. And opposite, that means my manifestation of the divinity is lesser. And we don't say no, but it is only lesser in immoral things, unethical things, or when you are telling lie and what, cheating and etc. And Swamiji is taking that, why should we love our fellow beings? Or why should we love human beings? Now, that can be discussed on 3-4 angles. Now, when we say that, why should I love beings? Oh, because they also have got life like us. They have also got feelings like us. Why should I love dog? Why should I help dog? Oh, because it also has got feelings like me. It also has got a life in like me. So, feeling out of compassion, out of mercy, recognizing the feelings, recognizing the life in other beings, either animals or human being or whatever, I love them, I help them. That's the one thing, which is very primitive, and which is a humanism, so-called humanistic philosophies and humanists, all they speak from this angle mostly. And the theistic schools of Vedanta, some of the little advanced, thinking, they say, because everyone is children of God. I and you and everyone, we are all children of God. So by loving people, by helping people, so God will be pleased. Vaishnava Seva. Why should we do Vaishnava Seva? Means all devotees Seva. Why? Because they are all children of God. So by serving children of God, God is pleased. So I'm loving human beings. I'm trying to love my neighbors. I'm trying to love every being. Why? Because they are all children of God. It may be animal, it may be bird, it may be reptile, it may be human being, it may be sinner or whomever so, because everyone is children of God. Because it's God's creation. Second thing. Third is because the God is manifesting us so many beings. So that means what? The same principle which I am made up of, and the same principle which any organism, any being is made up of, it is one and the same. So if I'm loving someone, I am loving myself. If I'm hating someone, I am hating myself. It is a subtle truth. That's the beautiful truth. Why? Because reality is only one. The consciousness is only one. There are only reflecting mediums. So if I'm loving someone, I am loving myself. If I'm hating someone, I am hating myself. I cannot hate myself. I can love myself only, isn't it? How much ever I'm good or bad. So if so, then how can I hate others? So how Advaita Vedanta can be the best base for loving people, for helping people, is Shivagnane Jiva Seva, which we all know, the philosophy of the Ramakrishna mission, which is given by Sri Ramakrishna and taught by Swami Vivekananda. For that, the Advaita Vedanta is the base. And Holy Mother's final teaching is what the greatest teaching of Advaita Vedanta. If you want peace, do not find fault with others. Why? Because of that, you will get soiled, your mind gets soiled. That's the one thing. Apart from that, no one is stranger in this world. Everyone is yours. What does it mean? No one is stranger in the world and everyone is yours. Means what? The same truth again. The truth is only one, the God, and God is manifesting in every being. So that means how can be anyone stranger? No one is stranger in the world. Everyone is yours. See how Holy Mother gave the Advaita, greatest Advaitic teaching in a simple language. So if you're trying to find fault with others, means what? You are trying to find fault with yourself, or you are trying to find fault with a God or what. That's one philosophical idea. And in day-to-day thing, the problem is by seeing it, by trying that, what will become negative mindset people, and slowly, that impurities, it may come on us. So we have to be careful. That's yeah. So if you are hurting means, if you are hurting someone, you are hurting yourself. If you are helping someone, you are helping yourself. When you are loving someone, you are loving yourself. So the best base for ethics and morality and helping each other or loving each other and etc., Advaita Vedanta can be the best. Then afterwards, Swami Vivekananda makes a remark or a caution about the bhakti. He says that the love which flows towards the personal God, which we call mostly bhakti, it is very good. It brings so good for the people and the society. It has brought, no doubt, and it may suit for many of the human minds. Everyone may not be able to understand and accept or appreciate Advaita Vedanta. That's why Vishadvaita came into existence, Dvaita and all other schools. That's why so many prophets and saints came, acharyas came. But the problem is, what happens? In slowly, in the name of devotion, we keep on weeping and we become emotional fools. And we lose strength, we lose vigor. That's what happened in Bengal. That's what it happened in many places where the devotional temperament, it got so much so that the chairs, they are crying, and they become good for nothing. So Swamiji is saying that bhakti or devotion means it is not just mere sentiments or mere emotions. It is much more higher. So in the bhakti path, this is one problem: is we keep on weeping, we keep on just emotional fools we become, and we become weak. That's what we see in many people. So you have to be careful. So spiritual life is not just mere weeping, mere crying. It is with full of strength. Unfortunately, with all due respect, when I saw Sri Ramakrishna's film in Bengali, it is so nice, no doubt, but many times, as if Sri Ramakrishna is always weeping with some problem, like that it has been depicted. Sri Ramakrishna was crying, no doubt, but it was for some higher reason, and he was, but everything, when Swami Akhandanji has said, Swami Vivekananda has said, invariably, Holy Mother has said, Sri Ramakrishna never had a longing face. He never had, he was never morose. He had a vaculata, but he was never morose. This fine difference, I mean, people cannot understand this fine difference, and they were not able to put in Sri Ramakrishna's play in the film. So just mere weeping is good. Sri Ramakrishna likes that, no doubt. If that is because of Vyakulata, not because of weakness. So what a mine of strength is in this impersonal. So when you take from the path of knowledge or from the Advaita point of view, it has got a lot of strength, Swamiji is saying that. So no superstitions and that. But every aspect and every path has got its own strength and weakness or limitations that we have to accept. Now, and he speaks of knowledge, Advaita Vedanta knowledge, or Upanishadic knowledge, or Gita knowledge. He says that when you take this Advaita Vedanta's knowledge, what happens? It gives a lot of strength in me. How? Because even at the most in the whole of our life, every being, we fear for death. That is called Abhinivesha. Abhinivesha means fear of death, fear from death, fear of death. Everyone we feel fear, isn't it? Even that can be, what do you say, conquered. I think, I don't remember the monk name, which I had heard in one of my, probably during training center or somewhere. I think one monk who worked or who served institution, one of our Ramakrishna Mission institution in a school or college. He was a warden for a long time. He served a lot, and he had become old, and he was retired also. One fine day, interestingly, you see, he calls monks and brahmacharis and doctors and said, okay, now my time has come. Today I'll be passing away. Now you see that you try to, maybe today early, you see that lunch, let it be over. Of course, nowadays we don't bother whether anyone died or not. We eat, that's fine. But in the few years before, it was not so. If someone has died in our house, even for a day or so, we were not eating. Nowadays we don't bother all that. That's fine. So he said, because if I die, people should not, out of respect and out of a maybe ritual or whatever. So people should not have the students. I don't want students to fast. So you finish their lunch and all, and you come and report me that their lunch is over, then I will leave my body. You see, as if you are going to some other place or whatever. Monk is saying that my death has reached, I'm neared, and I'm supposed to die. So, but before that, I should not bring any inconvenience to children and others. So you finish your lunch and you come and report me, then I will pass out. It was very hard to, accept or believe, and for many of them. But anyhow, they followed the instructions. They finished all the lunch and etc. And they came and reported. All the workers and monks and brahmacharis and students, everyone, they finished their lunch and they came and reported Maharaj. Maharaj said, okay, now I can leave my body, saying that taking Thakur's name, he left his mortal body. It may be possible for anyone of us. Now, death, which can be the greatest cause for our suffering, for our misery, for our fear, even that can be overcome when you go to the Advaita Vedanta. And Swami is quoting the second Sankhya Yoga, that is, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapyo, na shoshayati marutaha. Man stands on the glory of his own soul, the infinite, the eternal, the deathless, the soul which no instruments can pierce, which no air can dry, no fire burn, no water melt, the infinite, the birthless, the deathless, without beginning and without end, before whose magnitude the suns and moons and all the systems appear like drops in the ocean. There he is picking up Upanishadic idea. So achedyoyam adayoyam akledya shoshayevacha nityaha sarvagataha stanuhu achalaha ayam sanatana. So that's two slokas meaning. Swami beautifully he has mixed in this lecture. So afterwards you are saying, and he says that whatever you think, so you become. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. Yo yat shraddhasa eva saha. Even in Bhagavad, Upanishads it says, Yo yat shraddha sa eva saha. As your face, so you become. As you think, yad bhavam tad bhavati. Yat bhavam tat bhavati. However your bhava, feeling, emotions, strong feelings, strong emotions, so you become. That idea is telling, Swamiji is telling, whatever you think, that you will be. If you think yourselves weak you will be. If you think yourself strong, you will be. If you think yourself impure you will be. If you think yourselves pure you will be. This teaches us not to think ourselves as weak, but as strong, omnipotent, omniscient. No matter that I have not yet expressed it, it is in me. So The corollary of Advaita Vedanta, the gospel of strength, we keep on speaking, Swamiji's gospel of strength, here we can understand. By practicing Advaita Vedanta, by thinking Advaita Vedanta, what we can get. The power, we can become the epitome of power with strength. And today's science has been proven this. Today, neuroscience, it is telling that it is not that, brain we are born with, after initial stages we can change, after some age we cannot change. We think that. Now today, the neuroscience has accepted, no, we can change. By constantly making same work, or you can say habit, by creating an habit, you can change the rewiring of your mind, they are saying that. They use a neuro connections, they say. So the neuro connections can be changed. For example, I have got a habit of getting up at 8 o'clock. 20, 30 years I have done. Now I want to change my habit. Yes, at the age of 50 or at the age of 60 or at the age of 70, you can change it. So no age, it may be difficult. When you become more and more old, it may be a bit difficult, but possible. Today science has accepted. So yad bhavam tad bhavati, for that we are getting a neuroscience evidence. So as what you say, Sri Ramakrishna says, as long as I live, so long do I learn. It is not a hypothetical argument anymore. Even at the frag end of your life, if you want to learn new things, you can do. I think a cowl, I think one lady, I think whether I told you this example, I don't know. So she, in a running race, at the age of 101, she got a gold medal. And she started that practicing at the age of 70 or 80, imagine. And for her training, her own son, who was 60 plus, who was retired from the sports academy, he trained her, and he started, especially in the cold area, the two in swimming and running in the cold area and swimming in the cold countries or cold waters. She started doing at the age of 70 plus, and she got a gold medal at the age of 101. So no limitations if you really think. So yad bhavam tad bhavati. As you think, so you become. And if you think you are strong, yes you are. If you think if you are weak, yes you are. So this Swamiji's emphatical statement based on Vedanta, this has been proven by many people. But when we hear lectures, oh, Swamiji has told so beautifully, I can do anything and everything. We get also motivated and we think, oh, I should do this, I should do that and all. But after 2, 3 days, 4 days, back to pavilion. But that there is no consistency in this. That's our problem. It is not problem in Vedanta philosophy. The problem is in our feeling or in our understanding or in our putting into efforts. So there is a need of consistent effort. And probably, I don't know, there's a Madalasa story, but I think the time is up, isn't it? I will take up in the next class. What do you say? If we take 10 minutes.
10 minutes, I think you can take.
Are you sure? I don't know how many of you have heard the Madalasa story. It is quite interesting. She's actually, what you say, queen. She's the wife of King Rutudwaja. And very interestingly, when we are children, and you all being a mothers, when children are crying, you may give some toys, or you may say that some singing songs. And of course, when we were small, olden days, mothers used to sing song of mother, song of Krishna, especially southern part of India. Krishna songs are very famous to make us to put into sleep and etc. Now probably the modern girls, they don't know any of them. They may put some what do you say, some soft music or some pop music or whatever. And this Madalasa queen, there was, King, this Rutudwajan Madalasa, first son was born. And then he was named as Vikranta. Vikranta means one who has got great valor and courage. And Madalasa, she was also singing beautifully. And she sang so much, so nicely, and he understood and he accepted, and he lost interested. He never became a crown prince probably. He lost interest in kingdom and all. He went to forest and he became a monk, and he went to forest, he became a monk, and he attained salvation. Then after some time, second son was born. The king named him as Subahu, who has got a strong power and beautiful hands and shoulders and all. Again, mother sang so beautiful Advaitic songs. He also got, what do you say, renunciation. Vairagya, Tyaga Vairagya, he also went for forest. He became a monk, and he also strived for salvation, and he became. Third son was born. He was named as Shatrumardhana, means one who conquers enemies. Again, she sang so beautifully, she fed the children so beautifully, the Advaita Vedanta or the Atmagnana, at least theoretically. He also lost interest in the kingdom and all the riches and etc. He also became sannyasi. Then every time when the king was naming the children, Madalasa used to laugh. When the fourth son was born, by the time I think King Ritudwaja was bit what do you say, irritated. This time he said, "Okay, now I'm really got irritated from your laughing when I'm naming my sons. This time I will allow you. Let me see what type of name you are going to name your son. Let me see. You name your son now." And interestingly, she names her fourth son as Alarka. You know, Alarka means madman. Now imagine any mother what is names the son, her own son as a madman. She names her as him as a Alarka, which means mad boy, and he blesses him saying, "Chiram jivatu dharmatma." You may live long by observing righteousness, by observing dharma. This time, with folded hands, Ritudwaja says, "See, till now whatever you have done, fine, but now I have become old. I'm not able to bear the burden of this kingdom anymore, this kingship. At least this time you spare this fellow, my son. At least let him become king this time, at least, because all the three people went to forest and they became monks and they went to forest and they strived for salvation and they might have attained. But you spare this time this son at least, so that let him become a king in future, and let him take the kingship so that I can retire into forest or I can get out from this. Otherwise, our kingdom will be with no king or whatever." Finally, she laughs at it and she teaches him Rajadharma and etc. And he becomes a good king finally. And she gives a small ring and she says that, "Look, in future I may not be there, your father will not be there, fine. If you get any real problem which you can't face at all anymore, then you use this ring and you use this ring," she tells, and probably she might have died also by that time. At some point of time, maybe the king was in his middle ages, he had so much problems, such a problem from the neighboring enemy kingdoms, he felt it is no more possible for him to hold on to the kingship or hold on to his country or maintaining the kingship. Then he remembers his mother's statement, and he gets that ring and he tries to see what is there, and he was able to open the front side of the ring, and inside small paper was there. Small paper, interestingly, she had written that whenever you face a serious problem in your kingdom and if you feel that you can't manage anymore, you become unfit or you are incapable, then it is better to hand over the kingdom for a right person and you should leave the kingdom. Anyhow, that's how she had written, but so she handed over to the right person and he left for that. Now there are 6 to 7 paras or few things which is the part of Markandeya Purana. Probably I will tell 1 or 2 stanzas. What were the singing songs she used to sing to the children? Shuddhosi buddhosi niranjanosi samsara parivarjitosi samsara swapnatyaja mohanidra madalaso upam uvacha putra. There's a beautiful meaning. If you know little Sanskrit, you'll be able to. Who are you, my dear son? Putram, hey Putra, you are my son. Whose son you are? You are Madalasa's son. Uvacha, I am telling you. What I am telling you? Shuddhosi. Your nature is what? Purity. You are pure in nature. Shuddhosi. Buddhosi. You are enlightened ones. Buddha. Buddhu and Buddha. Little small difference. Buddhu, ignorant, dull-headed fellow. Buddha, enlightened fellow. You are Buddhosi. So should not get confused. Not Buddhosi, Buddhasi. Buddhosi means you are enlightened. Niranjanosi. You are free, you are pure. Niranjana means you are blemishless. Samsara maya paravarjitosi. And this maya, the maya called samsara. The samsara is a maya. So you leave away. You give parivarjitosi. You give away because your real nature is that. So, and why? Because what is this samsara? After all, this world and samsara is what? Samsara swapnatyaja. The samsara is the long dream. It doesn't have any value. So tyaja, better you give away. And you wake up, mohanidra. You wake up from mohanidra, madalasa, uvacha putram. Madalasa is telling you, my dear son, all these things. Now, let us think which mother tells to her son like this. That's why you can very well imagine why, I mean, all their three sons also left for the forest. And second thing she says, Shuddhosi re tata na te asti nama कुतहि तत्कल्प कल्पनायुधानैव पचात्मकं देह इदं न ते अस्ति नैवास्त्यत्वं रोदोषि कस्येते. Why are you crying, my dear son? Tata means son. Why are you crying, my dear child? My child, don't cry. Why? Shuddhosi re tata. Oh, my dear child, you are so pure. Your real nature is purity. Fine. Nat te asti nama. And you don't have a really, you don't have any name. Because you are a self, you can't be named actually. Then kutahi tat kalpana yudhanaiva. And this name is only imaginary superimposition. Pachatmakam deha idam te nasti. I mean panchatmakam deham idam ne te asti. This whole body, whatever you are saying, we are all attached. This body is made up of 5 elements. And this body is made up of 5 elements. So this bodies belong to 5 elements, and you don't belong to them, and they don't belong to you. Kutahi tat kalpana naivasyatvam rodoshi kasya hetu. Then why are you crying? For what reason you are crying, my dear? Since you are not body, the body doesn't belong to you, and you are not the body, then why are you crying? Like this beautiful shlokas or beautiful songs are there. I think 7, a few paras are there. Now, this was the what do you say? Advaita Vedantic teaching Queen Madalasa gave to her children. Now we all say, oh, children, they can't understand Vedanta, they can't understand higher things. But because the children were taught these things, and interestingly, they accepted, assimilated, and they put into practice, they became monks. Of course, many of our mothers, they don't want us to become monks. That's a different story. But you see, what type of thing they were telling. So the same thing has been given from Swamiji. Make your children strong from their very childhood. Teach them not weakness. Oh, if you do this mistake, if you don't listen, then there is a person who is hiding behind the door. He will come and he will take you, he will put you into gunny bag and he will. We induce fear for our children from the childhood, unfortunately. Because we have been induced from our parents. So to control our children, we instill fear in them. Swami Vivekananda is saying that don't do that. Instead of that, you should induce strength. You can do, my dear son, you have got that strength. Let them stand on their feet, bold, all conquering, all suffering. And first of all, let them learn of the glory of the soul, that you get alone in the Vedanta and there alone. So this particular statement, based on that, so I brought the Madalasa story. So Swamiji's whatever statement is there, that is to be practiced, and it is not mere thought. It is already there are people who have put into practice the story of Madalasa. What a beautiful lady she would have been, isn't it? Shuddhosi, Buddhosi, she's speaking, she's singing song of this great Vedantic ideas. So may Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda bless us. Let us try to put these ideas into our lives as much as possible, and let us try to experience the divinity in every walk of life, at every moment, in our work and struggles or whatever. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Maharaj, I cannot write the whole Madalaka slokas. I want to write that slokas.
I shall send you. I shall share with Chandrani. She can share with your group. Yeah.
Yes.
In Bhakti Yoga, the thing is, even Bhakti Yoga is not so easy without detachment.
Yeah.
That's my idea. So, is it?
Yes, you are right. You are right.
Yeah.
No, Swamiji is not undermining the Bhakti Yoga. Swamiji is saying that in the name of Bhakti, we land into sentimentalism or just emotionalism. That's why Swamiji is telling, he is giving a word of caution. Be careful. So, Bhakti is not just mere emotions, mere sentiments. It is much more
Yeah.
higher than.
And detachment is the primary condition.
For every yoga, detachment is the must.
Yeah. And second thing I want to ask you, this is
Mm,
little foolish question, but still I want to ask you, is like this. See, we are all uh, Tattamasi. The thing is, I am that and all this. So, but the thing is,
mm,
the Paramatman has created the galaxy, the world, this creation. I
mm,
cannot create.
mm.
So
Yeah,
there is a difference.
yeah, yes. From the dualistic point of view, all these differences exist, no doubt.
Oh, I see. Oh. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Because if I am merged within, then I'm that only. So I am only creating. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. That's what I said. It was just striking when you were talking. So I thought, let me clear. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, I
A
understood.
simple example, Ganga and Brahmaputra, both are one and the same or different?
Excuse me.
Ganga and river Brahmaputra, both are one and the same or different?
No, it's basically the same. It's all getting into the sea. So it's becoming all one in the sea. Yeah.
You see, all are becoming one in sea. Before that,
Before that, it's different. Yeah.
that's all. That's all.
Yeah. So that's what I said. It just got out of the idea and
No,
came
no,
back to
never mind.
the
Yes, we all
senses
struggle, all
again.
get stuck. No, never
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, see, all this understanding and convictions doesn't happen in one day.
Yeah.
We should keep on thinking. Our mind should be hammered time and again with this Vedantic hammer. Then only that gets understanding, then conviction, then practice, then realization. Yeah.
But for that knowledge, we need classes every day, not once in a week or once in 15 days.
No, but there are so many classes I'm taking and I'm sharing in that Om Charaivati group. Join in the group and you will get talks and you will be hearing this. I need to take everyday talk exclusively for you.
No, no,
Wherever I'm
not
getting,
for
I'll be
me.
sharing in
I'm
that.
saying it for a group. But more listening to recorded YouTube and listening to live conversation with a question and answer is an entirely different experience. Here, the life is meeting life. The YouTube life is not meeting life. It's recorded version coming to me.
Yeah. Then Saturday you join my YouTube classes through YouTube and you can, in the message, you can put questions, I can answer you. Sunday also you can join. Thursday, 7 o'clock. But even Sangamitra, I mean, from Chhattisgarh, she joins at 12:30. She's so interested. Really, I admire her interest. See, now at least it is a daylight saving is there. So it is like 7 o'clock means it is 11:30. She joins. And after October, it goes 5.5 hours difference. So if I'm taking a class at 7 o'clock, night 12:30. 12:30 she attends my class. I really admire her interest. Probably if you give a chance for me, probably I would not have said, I have said no. I would have said afterwards I've listened to the recorded talk. But she listens to at 12:30, you see.
No,
She's really serious and
I
interested.
really don't mind joining. I'm ready for it because I like the type of thought. So I am really interested to know more and more and more and more. So that's the thing.
I am taking the sadhana panchakam now. You can join every class, one or two spiritual sadhanas I'm discussing. You can join and you can hear and you can ask questions. Yeah, you are welcome.
But Maharaj, what I heard that your recording live session ends after 1 hour, and then the real means thing starts when you are starting with the Q&A.
No, that's why, because see, when you take a talk, even Swamiji's talks you take, so when you are giving a talk for the broad audience we speaking, when the question answers, it is a particular one-to-one we speak and we can be more pinpointedly in that. That's where I admire Swamiji's letters. It is like a fire. When I read letters, I cannot close the book shut or I cannot sleep even. Because such a powerful things we can see in Swamiji very clearly in letters, Swamiji's letters. Isn't it? Because there is one-to-one, it is going on, so with all power it goes.
So Maharaj, when will be the next class?
When will be the next class? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we can have on 10th.
Okay.
That is Wednesday, isn't it? We want
Yes,
Wednesday.
yes.
Yeah. 10th we can.
And Maharaj, actually, I have a practical question, but I don't know that means we are not in the stage of motherless. Actually, our children have already grown up. So, what to do now?
Whenever possible, you can tell your children this one. If not, you put into practice yourself.
So I am trying, but I feel very disheartened and frustrated seeing them.
But you are late, isn't it? You should have done this earlier. When they were small, you should have done that.
Yes, so I feel guilty and like that I have not done my duty probably, or I am not.
Whatever has happened, you can't undo it, isn't it? Only you can pray.
Yes, so I cannot undo it. But now at this moment onwards, what we can do?
See, two things. One is you can pray for them. No doubt, pray to Sri Ramakrishna that let them become good, let them understand these higher ideas, devotion and this Vedanta, so that their life will become better. You can pray for them, no doubt. And whenever is possible, whether they listen to you or not, whether they accept it or not, whether they follow it or not, whenever you get a chance, you may try to just say a few things to a certain extent. If you feel that they are no more interested and they can't really listen to you, then you pray and just pray for them and keep practicing that. Whatever cannot be done, you have to accept also. Because that should not create a problem for the relationships and others.
No, Maharaj, this second option is more true. This I have been following off and on. Some snippets, some knowledge, trying to impart. They always say, "This is for you. This is for you," like that. But
why? Because the mistake is from us only.
But I am saying after a few years now, slowly
they may come back. They
are inclining. They ask questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And also, see, I always tell this, especially in Indians and Hindus, it is very common because of the political and social reasons. We all give our children, you should read well, you should do well, you should win in competitions, fine. You should study well, you should become doctor, engineer, IAS officer, so that you will get good job, good pay, salary, pay slip will be nice, and your life is settled and marriage, etc., etc. Yes, fine. We can do all this. We should tell all these things. Apart from that, our Hinduism, our Indianism, or whatever Vedanta you say, Puranas you say, or Bhakti you say, these things we don't tell them when they are children. You give yourself. After future, what they will do, what they will not do, we don't know. But when they are small, we should give them until at least age of 12, 14 or 16. At least some remnants will be there. But unfortunately, we don't do that. And when they grow up with all that things and outside, lot of friend circles are there and outside society, all these things are there. So they will come up with some other things. Then when they grow up, we think about all these things, and definitely we can't do it. It is very difficult to do.
No, Maharaj, means in the childhood, my son used to read only mythology and nothing else. But now, in his childhood, he used to read only mythology and nothing else. Only mythology stories. And till today also, whenever I have some doubt or something, I just ask him, can you just tell me that what is that story? He says and everything. But now he says that I don't believe in God or like that. Means not that I have not tried. So, and now I see that his habits and everything that is changing probably.
Yeah, see, that's very interesting here is, now it is also our own limitations. So he's reading Ramayana, he's reading Mahabharata, or he may be reading Bhagavata or any Puranas, for example, we are very happy, fine, that's fine. But with what intention he is reading and what he is understanding from that, that's also very important. Probably many of the time, most of the time with parents, not in your case, in generally I'm saying, we ourselves, we do not know. We ourselves, we don't know what it is. So we are happy about that my son is reading Ramayana, Mahabharata. He is reading just as a story, as a comic. It will have some effect on him, no doubt. But the thing is that he's reading as a storybook, that's all. But by reading Ramayana and Mahabharata, the values, the spirituality, or the dharma, or the what you say, duty sense, moral sense, all these things, whether he's able to imbibe. So we have to pick up and we have to make them to understand this. That's where probably we don't do it. And also we'll say that, oh, when they were children, they were listening, they used to sit and do Satyanarayana Puja, or Durga Puja, Kali Puja, now they were no more. Yes, we asked them to do it because they were children and they were listening to us. They sat next to us, and whatever we asked, they did it. And they didn't know what is that behind what is the philosophy, what is the reason, why should you do, why should you do, you should not do. All these things we didn't explain them because many of time we ourselves we do not know. That's the reason when they were small, just they listen to us blandly and mechanically. And when they grow up, when the senses become strong, and because they have got lot of what you say effect from the friends and from the school and college and the external society, they see from their friends how they are free and what they do and what they don't do. So that will bring lot of effect on them. So when from their childhood days, possibly in their own way, if you can tell them why should you worship, why should you do meditation, why should you do this, why should you not do this, probably things may be a bit better. See, in my own case, I can tell very clearly, I come from a very religious family, very religious, orthodox family. Oh my God, I used to tell that, oh, through your orthodox and this untouchability, you are killing people. Sometimes I used to tell. Anyhow, mother used to feel bad and she used to scold me. My granny used to scold and all. I said, the grandfather died 30 years before. And you are doing Vashika Shabda, annual Tithi you are doing. And in Kannada, Tithi is one means Shabda, the other is Tithi is killing, basically. Slang language. So you are doing grandfather's Tithi and you are making Tithi of us. I mean, so much do's and don'ts and etc. And during my childhood days, I used to say. I mean, she used to scold us or whatever. And probably at the age of, I mean, at the 8th or 9th standard, when I really wanted to know this, I asked them, okay, you do this and you don't do this. I said, fine, but why? Oh, because my parents said, my father said, my mother said, my grandma said, my mother-in-law said, I am doing. They said, you did fine. You are saying I'm doing it fine, but let me know why should I do this? She was able to tell something fine, but afterwards when I asked something little more detailed, she was unable to tell. And finally she came with a conclusion, argument saying that, see, you people are bit courageous and you are able to question father and mother and etc. But in our days it was not so. We were unable to question like this with my parents and elders. So I don't know any of this. I never questioned them. I listened to them and I followed them. You also do. And I said, it is up to you. It is your problem. But that is not the case. You are supposed to answer me. Then only I can do it. Otherwise, why should I do? Because you did. At some point of time, discussion or argument, you can say, she felt very bad. She started crying as a mother, definitely. Because then I said, okay, you are not able to clear my answers or questions, but because of my questioning, it is hurting you. So I don't want to hurt you, mother. So out of love, out of respect, whatever you say, I will do it. With the family customs and traditions, whatever you say, I will do it out of respect and love towards you, nothing else. Then I started doing it. But then I came into contact with Ramakrishna Ashram and all. Slowly I started studying books and etc. etc. Then because of my own interest or nature, swabhava or whatever, then I learned and all. Then afterwards, slowly I started explaining to my mother, why should I do this? Why should I not do this? So this is what typically it happens in our, especially in our religion, because we don't know many of these things and we have not been taught by our parents and our elders, and we don't know these things, and that's where children are misguided. So the best thing is we should learn them and we should make them to understand all these things, and we should give our things, whatever is given from their childhood days till adolescent and whatever. Afterwards, it is up to them to follow it up. Yeah.
Yes, so I think Sharupa has raised her hand.
Maharaj, I have one small question. You told that, can you hear me, Maharaj?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you told that we induce fear to our children's mind, and Swamiji told us to be fearless and to be bold. Uh, but at the same time, we have read that a mother, Sisima, told us that "Jar ache bhoy, tar hobe joy." So the when these two ideas are apparently seems to be opposite. So in which perspective, I mean, Shamiji told to be fearless and mother advised to be fearful and to be alert.
Yes. Now, Swamiji is telling be fearless because the real nature is what? I am the self, not the body and mind. So the self means it's the infinite possibilities. It has got infinite strength. I can do many things. I can achieve many things. Impossibility is not there at all. So be fearless. Now, how much are we say, but because of our limitations, because of our desires, because of our nature or whatever, we may do some mistakes. We may create some evil actions. We may do some sins, basically. So, from that point of view, Holy Mother says, for whomever there will be fear, fear of doing mistake, fear of going to hell, fear of getting punished by God. That fear at the initial level or at the base level, that helps us to it helps us to check doing wrong thing. Now, in the older days, why? I mean, even I thought myself, why this concept of heaven and hell comes? Whether it is there or not, apart from that, why this concept of heaven and hell was brought by our forefathers? Because the concept of heaven is rewarding, the concept of hell is punishing. So when you do good thing, for example, if someone is doing good things, I may get 1 rupee, I may get some chocolate from the parents or from the elders. So it is rewarding. So similarly, if I do good things, then I'll go to heaven and I will enjoy and I will be happy there and that. Similarly, if I do wrong things, evil things, sinful actions, then I will go to hell and have to suffer a lot. So this idea or concept of reward and punishment can control our instincts, can control our nature, can control our looseness or whatever. So from that point of view, I think Mother says that tar bai take udir bhalo hobe kalyan. From that point of view, Swami Mother has told that.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, Maharaj, thank you.
Yeah.
Pranam.
Pranam Maharaj.
Pranam Maharaj.